Today in the Smugglers Room, we're building something that someday, maybe, Doc Ondar would want in his den of antiquities. That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian, and welcome to the Smugglers Room. This week, this chubby geek is answering to the challenge that Aedo from FabWorks issued over a month ago. The challenge? To build something that could be found at Savvy's workshop or Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now, before we dive into my selection and choice of projects to build, I want to give a huge thanks to Aedo from FabWorks for putting together an amazing event. There were so many different makers in the community that participated, and earlier this week we recorded a live session where we reviewed many of the projects that were submitted, handed out prizes, and it was just an absolutely great time. So when you finish watching our episode today, I encourage you to head on over to FabWorks. We're going to put a link in the description below. You can check out the recording that we did from earlier this week. You'll be able to see all the different entries, the judging, the reviews, and everything that went into that event. Thanks again, Aedo. Now, let's see if our project could find its way into the Den of Antiquities, and we'll let you decide what you think. That is a lot of box for just these three pieces. Wow. Look at that. This aquarium came with another one. That was nice of them to send me that second raffle. Okay, so what are we building here? Well, if you've ever ventured to Galaxy's Edge and visited Doc's place, then you'll notice it's full of all sorts of collectibles, lightsabers, weapons, art, and so on. What I gravitated to in the Den of Antiquities were the seemingly live animal displays. You can find an infant sarlacc and some other strange creatures in aquariums, and I was drawn to that. I thought it would be pretty interesting to have some type of Star Wars creature in an aquarium, but I also wondered just where in my room build this would also work. I remembered another aspect of the park I enjoyed, perhaps a little too much actually, and that was Olga's Cantina. In Olga's, above the bar, you see another creature in an aquarium, and there's actually a tube that connects the aquarium down to a drink dispenser on the tap rail. Pretty gross, right? But that's when it hit me. Of course, we need a creature's aquarium that we can attach to our tap rail and pour beverages out for our guests. This will work great for our cantina, and it's something I think that would certainly be found in Doc Ondar's place. Okay, so we understand what I wanted to build, but why a Rathtar? Well, in this case, I'm inventing a bit of my own Star Wars lore here. So here is my backstory to this build. In the Outer Rim, we find creatures of all shapes and sizes. Most are familiar with the Tuan Kati Rathtars, the large slug-like creatures that are purely ravenous, persistent eaters, capable of consuming virtually anything they can fit into their robust radial mouths. Those are commonly known. Yet we have been sent out by none other than Doc Ondar to collect a rare species of Rathtar, those that are much smaller than their more widely known cousins, those with a unique and valuable feature. These smaller variety of Rathtar, also known as Raththesis, are known to excrete a viscous liquid from their skin that when processed correctly can produce a wondrous amber. No fermentation needed, simply pour over ice and enjoy. Though be warned, harvested incorrectly by an amateur mixologist, and the liquid can cause an excruciating death. Rathtar juice, or known in higher society as Raththesis elixir, is sought after by the owners of cantinas the galaxy over. Be prepared to part ways with your credits, however. A single glass of this slug nectar could cost you more than you're willing to part with. When you go to the pet supply store to pick up the rocks, I grabbed the rocks, I grabbed a few other things, toys for my dogs, and I grabbed a stick. It was like this, right? It's just a stick. And I went to the checkout line and there were lots of people there and it's $66 and I give my card and I go get in the car and I'm driving home. And I start to think to myself, how is it $66? The bag of rocks was $10. And then I remembered that the two toys I got from my dogs, those were $10 a piece too. So there's roughly a $30 increment missing. This stick, as it turns out, was $30. I spent $30 on a stick that you could have found in the backyard. Now here's the thing. I get all the way home and I decide, am I going to just keep the $30 stick? Or should I drive back to the store and return it? And I'm so lazy I kept the $30 stick. And then I cut it in half. So, moral of the story, I guess check the prices of everything. Seems obvious. Not so obvious today. The most expensive piece in this whole diorama is the stick. The tentacles are huge. Should have done a few less tentacles, I guess. It went in there pretty good before on the test fit. Oh boy. All right, as it turns out, taking the really expensive $30 stick, taking that out, I can get him in. So now I just have to wiggle the stick in there and see how I can get that positioned. Sure it drips all the way out and doesn't get on your skin. Okay, now when you take it off, you do this. You roll it, keep rolling it, and that way the drips don't end up on you. The Den of Antiquities. Hidden inside the den, you'll encounter a rotating collection of unique items from all over the galaxy. How Doc Ondar acquired these treasures, no one knows. Some secrets are better kept that way. Other secrets are better kept for sale. For this smuggler and his relationship with the proprietor of the Den of Antiquities, I think I'm better off keeping his secrets. That way, at least, I'll be around to keep building something out of nothing. Jeez. Oh my god! The stick isn't gonna fit in there. I'm gonna have to cut it again. Ah!